how has the digital entertainment industry pivoted during the COVID-19 pandemic? I mean, what kind of challenges and opportunities have come across its path and have now influenced the fundamental shifts in what we will know as entertainment going forward?
I think when you look at the media entertainment sector, probably the most obvious shift and challenge has been, the theatrical movie business. That's something that I think we all hold near and dear to our heart. Being film lovers and television lovers and content lovers, that has been one of the largest shifts in the industry. I'll let Ron jump into this window opportunity, but the film industry historically had a window that was protecting theatrical distribution, and that is now shifted to a digital distribution. Over the holidays, I enjoyed Wonder Woman with my family, and as much as I love being in the movie theater, that is one of the most dramatic shifts in the business. And then it goes all the way down the value chain. Canada is a very strong production hub. We had to halt production across the country for all these television productions or film productions. And that was another huge shift that the industry had to adapt to make sure everyone was healthy and safe on set in the physical arena. So, those are kind of the two highlights that I would see on the challenges on the physical distribution side with the movie theaters, and then the physical production side. And what it's really led to is a dramatic, fast-tracked shift to digital consumption.
There's no doubt, you're right, in terms of trends, this pandemic, this last year has seen some, an incredible, what would you call it? It's like tectonic plate shifting. There's been a huge impact on our industry of consumption, first and foremost, theatrical exhibition. And it certainly has been, I won't say mothballed, but it's been shut down for this year internationally, or limited to a significant degree. But there's one thing for sure, it's not going away. It's just changing. And, we have there are very large global numbers in terms of box office and these great big tentpole and sort of shared viewing events that we all go to at cinemas. They will come back. They will come back this year, gradually. And it may not be the same in terms of the trend and the way that people experience that shared viewing, but it certainly will come back. So we'll start to see that come back in 2021 and 22. Very rightly so. What that has done is it's impacted our ability to produce internationally, and so stopped everything for a while in various countries. Some places kept going, others stopped altogether. What it's done, it's also increased the cost of production significantly, depending on where you are in the world and what's required. As much as 10 to 20% extra cost in terms of insurance and COVID crews and testing and all the protocols is an expensive additional cost to production. And this stop in production has created a backlog. So, with the streamers being the chosen or the sort of the default way that families and audiences are experiencing, consuming content, whether it's Amazon Prime or Netflix or Hulu or any of the streamers, the issue is that you've got this constant demand for fresh content. I mean, irrespective of the fact they have large libraries that people, will watch, eventually it comes down to sort of the hottest, freshest stuff that we can talk about. I don't want to say around the water cooler because people aren't going to the office these days, but certainly amongst friends and family members, people talk about what's hottest and newest and the newest television series or films. So that demand is fueling production internationally. And so the issue is trying to find a way to get things completed so that they can be released. If they can be released, how are they being released, through which windows? And typically now it's for the time being been shifted to streaming. So certainly, that has also created a huge backlog in production internationally, where we have this massive demand, and then we have all these productions which want to get going, but simply because of the protocols, the backlog, it takes time to get them into production and as they say, greenlit. So that, I think, is an additional factor. It also has a spillover effect on production facilities, studios, crews, the production community globally, especially if you're talking about important production hubs like South Africa, like Canada, like Australia, of course, like America and the US, and the key markets in Europe and the UK. These are all places where that have been affected. So, I think we are all looking to get back to work in a safe way, and to start to fill that backlog of productions. I don't want to go off on a tangent. I think there's a few other things which we're seeing as trends in our industry. I think television, broadcast television, which everyone keeps saying is going away, is absolutely changing, and it's evolving to be an IP-based distribution sort of medium. But television continues. It continues to exist internationally, and I think this sort of trending and what has happened based on the pandemic may represent an opportunity for a kind of resurgence, at least for some time, of broadcast, particularly in live broadcast, live television, live sports, live events like the Olympics. We're still talking about this Tokyo Summer Games returning. Events which are maybe specifically programmed, which may be even dramatic events. So I think the opportunities are quite exciting, actually, in the television world. And I think that, obviously we talked about streaming being something that is now, evolving and becoming the mainstay. I think we're also not talking enough about live events. I mean, live stadium and concerts and shared events that will also, this is all part of our ecosystem. So we have to be aware. We can't do one thing without being aware of all the spillover or the effects of other things, because we have a bit of a cross marketing planning of events that may be televisual, may be theatrical, may be live, may be broad, so they really, you have to take all these things into account, and all of the other aspects of them, which can involve competition, engagement, play, gaming, live, online, mobile, etc. So everything is connected, and I think that's, to wind up your question, I think everything is connected, and so that pandemic, what has happened in the industry, is felt across multiple silos in our industry.
From the investment side, what has happened is tremendous amounts of capital have flowed into this fueling demand. I think the pandemic, if you look at a stock chart, there weren't many entertainment companies that weren't dramatically hit financially when the pandemic first happened. Disney being, the iconic brand that it is, obviously, I don't know if you've been to Disneyland, but, most people have at least experienced Disneyland or hope to experience Disneyland. And, that was maybe traditionally what an entertainment company was in the past, theme park. Obviously, Disney has completely reversed its business model to, a theme park conglomerate merchandising, behemoth, to really leading with Disney Plus, the streaming platform. So I think from an investment standpoint, people have seen that there's opportunity in this shift. And yes, to your point, it was always happening. But the tech companies now have just added major fuel to the fire. And you have Amazon and Apple and Microsoft just dumping huge amounts of capital into this sector to speed up that growth.